much-awaited inaugural session, it is my honor and privilege to invite our distinguished guests for the day, Mr. Sanjay Jaju, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India, Dr. Pragya Paliwal Gaur, Director General, All India Radio and News Service Division, Dr. Benno Boyer, Chief Natural Sciences Unit, UNESCO, Mr. K.N. Srivastav, Director IIC, and Mrs. Archana Kapoor, Founder Director, the Radio Festival. Now I would like to invite Mrs. Archana Kapoor, Founder Director, TRF, to welcome the dignitaries.
A very good morning to all of you. In fact, every year for the last 7 years, it gives me so much joy and so much pleasure to see this hall always full. So I would like to begin with a big applause for everyone who's in this room, for everyone who believes in the power of radio, and for everyone who has made time to be here. Honorable guests on the dais, Mr. Sanjay Jaju, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, a big pillar of support for community radios and the sector in general. Mr. K.N. Srivastav, Director IIC, and former civil servant who has been very kind in giving us these spaces. Of course, he charges us a lot for it, and he also charges us for the food and for the mics and for the projectors. But yet, sir, it's an honor to do this event at IIC, a safe space for all of us and a lovely place which allows us the freedom to have these conversations. Dr. Pragya Paliwal Gaur, Director General, All India Radio. I don't know whether it is still Akashvani or All India Radio, but I will say both. So Akashvani, All India Radio and the News Service Division, and our co-host, Dr. Benno Boyer, Chief of Natural Science Unit, UNESCO. UNESCO, as you know, has always been supporting the World Radio Day for the last 8th edition now. 8 years, they have been a very strong partner, and we have been able to manage this together with them. I would be unfair if I don't welcome all my distinguished guests. They know who they are. They are real friends of Smart and community radios, our fellow radio stations, and executive council members of the Community Radio Association and other bodies and other media bodies that are present here. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the celebration of World Radio Day and the 8th edition of the Radio Festival. This is a celebration of the voices that connect our societies, empower communities, and drive change. As I said, since 2018, this festival has served as a platform for dialogue, deliberation, innovation, and reaffirming our collective commitment to public service. This year, UNESCO announced the theme of the World Radio Day as Radio for Climate Change. We have taken the liberty to expand this title and this occasion to talk about AM, FM, radio and resilience. Recognizing radio's critical role in strengthening community resilience against climate change, natural disasters, public health crisis, and socio-economic challenges, we feel that the word AM/FM is not only representing frequencies, but it stands for, in this venue at least, and on this occasion, adaptation, mitigation, and futures management. So our AM/FM is, of course, the frequencies, but also how we look at our roles towards climate change. SMART has been committed to creating awareness and demystifying the complexities of climate change since the last few years. We have worked with over 100 community radio stations from down south to east to north to west, located in vulnerable zones, and have tried to bring about behavior change. Last year, under the G20 presidency, we hosted a day-long conference on India and its ongoing efforts in mitigating the impact of the climate crisis. Distinguished guests on the dais and in the audience, SMART has also been committed to making community radios a gender-safe space. We have worked in 15 states with 20 partner community radio stations to combat gender-based violence within their communities. Today, we will be releasing an outcome of our 2-year-long engagement, dialogue, and conversations across the country. With your support, sir, this could be a pioneering work globally. We would now like you to work with these community radios, your department, to start a gender-safe community radio campaign. We would be delighted to take the lead and start a certification process for community radios. And then maybe, sir, it could be adopted by other media organizations, whether it is private radios, AIR, or even other media entities. Sir, despite several initiatives to keep our communities safe and strong, resilient and responsive, community radios have faced challenges beyond the global crisis that we are addressing today. Sir, I urge you to recognize our struggle for resilience. Private radio stations are increasingly going regional, embracing local languages and cultural content while focusing on entertainment and revenue. With the auction of 734 frequencies in 234 Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, private channels now directly compete with community radios. Yet, our mandate remains public service, community service, and making us extremely essential for the last mile connectivity. This space has now become highly competitive, sir, but its options to raise revenue have been rapidly shrinking. While community radios together reach an average of 164 million people with 547 radio stations, and an assured listenership as per your own survey, sir, of 40 million people, we are bound by too many restrictions. And financial sustainability continues to remain a hurdle. Even some who are now running 2 to 3 stations under the scheme of 6 stations per organization, they are unable to even sustain one at times. The intellectual property rights licensing costs are prohibitive, 50,000 annually. Even for playing songs sung by their own communities because the lyrics don't belong to us. Advertisement revenues are scarce as major advertisers ignore our listeners thinking that they do not have the purchasing power. While today we celebrate, it's not an occasion to rant and to complain and to reach out to you with all the woes that we have. As we celebrate World Radio Day, sir, we also want to use this occasion to give a call for support. We are around 140, 150 community radio stations in this room. We are not just communicators, sir. Our voices are deeply embedded in the land, reflecting the emotions of villages, towns, peoples, and whose voices are never heard. We feel that it's only the government that can take cognizance of the unique role we as community radios play. We as community radios have the power. We bring with us a defined community. I always talk about the 5 C's, sir. We bring with us a defined community, a deep understanding of the context of the people and their culture and their challenges. We bring in content, which is communicated in local and easy to understand dialect. We have the connect with other community-based organizations, local media, district authorities, and finally, we are a credible source of information. In this era of misinformation, community radios remain a trusted source of information, and their contribution can never be overstated. Sir, and dignitaries on the dais, community radio is not just a medium. It was meant to be a people's movement. This sector urgently needs a survival package before rapid changes in technology and regulatory issues sound its death knell. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I want to be realistic. On this occasion of the World Radio Day and the 8th edition of the Radio Festival, we seek the indulgence of every person in this room, from every organization, the embassies that are here, in making community radio financially, socially, and structurally sustainable. Together, we will continue to raise our voice because words are all I have as a radio person. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I would now request, sir, as he has another engagement. Thank you, first of all, sir, so much for always coming. I'll never forget you had just joined last year, and you made time to come for the radio festival. Sir, over to you, and we will carry on after the release of the book. We will carry on with the speeches, but sir may have to leave.
Esteemed senior colleague Shivastavji, who's been lending this space to the radio festival. Hope next year it becomes much easier for you. I think he would have noted your point. Pragya, our Director General for the All India Radio. Dr. Benno Boyer, is that right? Right? Archana has always been at the helm of bringing the community radios together, and you're absolutely right. You know, last year, 13th of February, I just was 1 week into this job, and this was the first time that I kind of got engaged with the community radios and the universe of community radios in our country. So at the outset, my congratulations to all of you. World Radio Day. It's been in 2010 it was decided, right? You even decided that we need to have a World Radio Day around on 13th of July, and very happy that this particular session has this particular year, world and climate change. I mean, radio and climate change. That's the theme of the World Radio Day this year. At the same time, you have the Radio for Resilience. I hope Radio for Resilience also means climate resilience, right? Of course, great. So, honorable guests, esteemed colleagues, and all the friends from the world of radio, it's indeed an honor to be here at the 8th edition of the Radio Festival. Congratulations, Archana ji, for doing this year on year, and we need people like you who creates a platform that can celebrate the power and reach of radio. So my congratulations to you, and friends. I think while transformations are happening, technological disruptions are underway, the most enduring and transformating mediums of communication is a radio. It's not just a medium; it's a lifeline that actually transcends borders, the geographical borders that we have created, connects people, and helps amplify the voices, most importantly. And I think one of the most memorable moments in India's radio history actually took place on the midnight of August 14th, 1947. And as the country stood on the threshold of independence, it was radio that brought the voice of history into people's homes. At exactly 11:55 p.m. on 14th, the legendary broadcaster, Melville D. Mello, took to the airwaves of All India Radio and actually announced that this is All India Radio. We now bring you a special broadcast on the eve of independence. Moments later, the entire nation listened as our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, delivered his iconic Tryst with Destiny speech. His words, at the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom, were carried across the country through the magic of radio. And for millions who had no access to newspapers or other media, radio was their only connection to that historic moment. It was through the power of sound that India's independence was celebrated in every village, town, and city. There was no internet, no newspapers. How do you think the country got to know that we become independent, right? So it was through the medium of radio. And on November 12th, 1947, during his first and only appearance on the AIR broadcast, Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi, said about radio, "This is a wondrous thing." Bapu said, "In it I see Shakti. In it I see Shakti, which is the miraculous power of God." These were the words, iconic words, none other than Mahatma Gandhi ji. Friends, 2 years ago, India marked 100 years of radio broadcasting, a milestone that reflects its unparalleled impact on our society. Since the first ever broadcast by the Radio Club of Bombay in 1923, radio has evolved, adapted, and strengthened its role as a trusted source of information, education, and entertainment. Today, All India Radio, our public service broadcaster, is among the largest broadcasting organizations in the world. With 591 broadcasting centers, AIR covers nearly 90% of the country's geographical area and reaches 98% of our population. It serves our diverse nation by originating programs in 23 languages, 179 dialects, truly living up to its motto, Bahujan Hitay, Bahujan Sukhay, for the benefit and happiness of all. The News Services Division of AIR works round the clock, broadcasting over 607 news bulletins daily for both home and external services. And these bulletins are aired in multiple Indian languages as well as foreign languages, ensuring that the news reaches people in their preferred language and region. And supporting this vast news network are 46 regional news units which are tailoring content to reflect the national, regional and local affairs based on their newsworthiness. Now, beyond India's borders, All India Radio's External Services Division also plays a very vital role in strengthening our global voice. We broadcast in 27 languages, 15 foreign and 12 Indian languages for an aggregate durations of 72 hours daily, and we reach audience in over 100 countries. And this is actually positioned All India Radio as a cultural and diplomatic bridge, fostering connections across nations and communities. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, in the current day and age, has actually truly made use of the medium of radio and in an absolutely iconic manner. He has not just recognized the immense power of radio to connect with the people of India, especially in the remote corners of the country, but he also understands the value of the medium, and that's why his monthly program, Mann Ki Baat, has actually revolutionized the way communications happen with the citizens when it comes to any government across the world. Since its launch in October 2014, Mann Ki Baat has now become a transformative platform where the voices of ordinary Indians are heard and celebrated. Whether it is a farmer innovating in a farm field somewhere in the remote corners of our country, a young entrepreneur starting some business somewhere, or a teacher inspiring students, Mann Ki Baat has given all these unheard voices a stage, and it has not just reached every stage, every community, every age group. It is also played in spreading a lot of awareness, especially the times when COVID struck us. His conversations are not just around the local communities, his conversations also transcend boundaries. He's been talking about environmental conservation, the theme for this year's World Radio Day, including Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Vocal for Local, etc. So this is actually the true power of radio, the ability to inform, inspire and unite a nation, truly exemplified by Mann Ki Baat being aired every month. Community radio, all of you, many of you come in from, and many of you run community radios, and I understand your pains. We're trying to fix up as much as we can. We'll continue to support community radios. We'll ensure that, the financial distress which many of you might be facing is ameliorated, because community radio stations are game changers. They not just empower local communities by addressing hyper-local issues, but they also, like Mann Ki Baat, provide a platform to local farmers, local artisans, women entrepreneurs, and the young people to share their voices and aspirations. And in that sense, it truly is the community radio. It belongs to the local community. It belongs to the people there. We in the ministry, we understand the value of community radio in fostering local dialogue, social change and grassroots empowerment. And we have been saying that we need to support this, and that's why we in the ministry have a scheme which supports community radios, and we also provide financial assistance for setting up community radio stations in our country. And I've been telling all my information dissemination teams that community radios should always get a share of the advertisements that we give to for disseminating government programs. In the last 11 years, community radio sector has witnessed substantial growth. which also goes to show that it's being liked, it's being used, it's being considered as a vehicle for energizing and empowering local communities. The number of stations which stood at some 140 in 2014 now stand to somewhere close to 530 odd community radio stations. And all these stations are playing a very crucial role in addressing local concerns, promoting education. Many of them are in government colleges, schools, etc., disseminating government programs, schemes, and allows many of you to amplify the voices of the farmers, artisans, women entrepreneurs, and marginalized communities. Community radio, in one sense, is truly the radio by the people, of the people, for the people. Other than that, we also recognize the potential of FM radio, I think AM, FM radio, to expand its outreach. And we also understand it has a huge role in catering to local and hyper-local issues. You would have all heard that the Union Cabinet last year has approved a massive expansion of the private FM radio network across 234 new cities. The bidding process is likely to start very soon. Very soon means very, very soon. We've already got applications, and a very good response has come in, so that private FM radio moves to 234 new locations in our country. And this would not just help in enhancing local content, but obviously it will generate local employment. And we also hope that many of these unserved regions will get ultimately served. So today's topic, radio for resilience and climate change, obviously, which is an international theme for this year's World Radio Day. It couldn't be more relevant in today's world. And maybe, as was pointed out, it maybe is coming a little 5 years later, possibly. We should have had it many years before, because across nations and communities, we are witnessing an era of unprecedented challenges. I mean, look here, 13th of February, and how many of you are not just feeling the heat in this room? I mean, if it's outside as well. I mean, it's not so chilly, it's not so cold at all. It's just changed in a day. This is the level of hyperactive seasonal and climatic variation that we are observing. And all these will lead to climate change-induced disasters, public health emergencies, obviously, and socio-economic disruptions, and ultimately will fuel humanitarian crisis. And I think in these testing times, radio will become a huge source as a beacon of information, not just for mobilizing people, but it might also help become a bridge between the policymakers and people on the other side. So that's going to be a very significant role for the radios. I've been district collectors in areas where a lot of disasters struck in the coastal parts of Andhra Pradesh, and I know whether it's disaster warnings in cyclone-prone areas or health advisories during a pandemic, sometimes even an educational program, railway has always been the principal source of empowering and informing and uniting people across years and across decades. I'm also sure that there is a lot of role that community radios can play in climate resilience, and not just in providing early warning systems in coastal areas, cyclones, etc., which threaten livelihoods, people. You are in a position to broadcast real-time alerts. In public health crisis, as I mentioned, COVID pandemic, you played a huge role. In socio-economic challenges also, you can providing right information, correct information, educational opportunities, employment opportunities, and financial literacy programs will be of great help. And at the same time, community participation, because most of these challenges can only be adequately met if we have the communities getting together. I agree with Archana ji. Radio has stood the test of time, but now it faces huge challenges in the digital age. The rise of on-demand streaming platforms, podcasts, AI-driven content is changing how the audience consume information. And you also have a challenge where you say that, that is completely uncontrolled, I am completely controlled, and the regulatory aspects also have huge issues currently. But I'm absolutely sure that rather than fading away, and it's exemplified by the fact that when we have issued bids for these 234 cities, we have 20 companies which have participated in the bids. That means there's still people who consume a lot of content on radio, and they would continue to consume that on radio. And I'm sure you'll all reinvent, which happens. you will reinvent. People will again go back to radios. I don't know how many of you are aware of Prasar Bharati OTT called Waves. If you're not, please download it. It's free for those who want to have ad-supported content. And I think there is a film being played there, right? I had seen it. Jaya Bachchan plays a... नहीं ये रेडियो से रिलेटेड है वो. हाँ, गुलमोहर नाम नहीं है उसका, आप चेक करिएगा. आई थिंक ये सस्पेंस छोड़ देते हैं. प्लीज गो एंड डाउनलोड प्रसार भारती वेव्स, WAVES, वेव्स, लहर as the meaning of the waves, PB. So please download the OTT and you have a very good film. Jaya Bachchan ji is the lead actor and she's talking about how radio is so important. She's trying to compare mediums and very interesting. Please have a look. So there will be challenges, but I'm absolutely sure that the medium would continue to remain impactful and relevant. So from our side, from the ministry side, I reaffirm our commitment to this medium. We'll ensure that we'll not just be afraid of innovations, we'll embrace innovation, we'll foster collaboration, and we'll strengthen the role of radio as the catalyst for change. And once again, I congratulate all those who are associated with this radio festival. So many years you've been doing it with limited funds at your disposal. She can't complain. We do support her. Srivastav ji, you take away some of our money, but we do support. And I was telling Pragya, if you can bring a bigger crowd, I can give you the auditorium next year for free. We in All India Radio, we have 490-seater auditorium. It's available for free. Please make use of it. And we'll also offer lunch for free. And we'll also invite IIC and all its members, because IIC is one of our principal partners in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Srivastav ji has been our very senior officer and colleague, and I've been knowing him for last 20 years now, so I can do a little bit of fun at him. But believe me, we need to support community radios, because if we don't support you, then we are obviously not supporting the weaklings. And obviously, as in the ministry, it's our job to ensure that we provide voice to the voiceless and we create a bridge which can become a force for positive transformation. So once again, my congratulations to you. And I'm so sorry I have to move on to the next commitments. Otherwise, I would have stayed back. But my congratulations to all of you for good deliberations and a good radio festival entire day long. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir, for the inspiring speech filled with optimism and hope for the future. Now I will invite you to launch the gender manual. This marks a significant step forward in our journey, laying the foundation for a more inclusive and equitable process. With this, the path to true representation and fairness begins. We'll continue with our discussions, and I would invite our next panelist to take over, and Dr. Pragya Paliwal Gaur, Director General, All India Radio and News Service Division. Ma'am, I would like to invite you to make your remarks.
Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Benobor, Shri Kyan Srivastav ji, DGIIC, all the radio enthusiasts sitting in front of me, a very happy Radio Day to you all. My greetings to you all. And it's an honor to be here representing Akashvani and also to be with you all, the radio enthusiasts. So before I start, I think I'll begin with on a very happy note. I'll refer to, as Secretary Sahab had mentioned, about the Man Ki Baat. So it's a privilege for us that Honorable PM today, he has greeted all of us on the World Radio Day. So that's the kind of importance that is given by our PM to the radio. And I would like to just, read out his message, which really it is the essence of why all of us have assembled here. He says in his address that he has termed radio as a timeless lifeline for several people,
informing, inspiring, and connecting people. From news and culture to music and storytelling, it is a powerful medium that celebrates creativity. He has also complimented all of those who are associated with radio, and we all are part of that community. So it's an honor that we have got these greetings right from the Prime Minister. Going on ahead with the theme this year and the theme of this session of resilience, All India Radio has always, committed itself towards resilience and bringing about awareness about climate change. As it was mentioned earlier, the reach of Akashvani is almost 90% of the population and 98%, and all the FM part also, it almost covers about 75% of the population. So we are reaching everywhere, all parts of the country. Apart from this, the reach, of course, it is there, but the most important thing that is, valuable to us is the trust that people have in radio, the trust that people have in Akashvani, not only in the news part, but also in the general programming, the content that we have. And as we are discussing the climate change, and we are seeing also that due to this climate change, due to the adverse impact, we are seeing more number of natural disasters that are happening. Earlier it was thought, one of the previous panelists said that earlier it was thought that it would be a thing of future. But our generation, the youngsters, they will be facing more, who are the youngsters sitting here in front of me. They will be facing the brunt all the more as compared to what we are facing it right now as they grow up. So, creating awareness about climate change, how to prevent, how to take care. So, we are seeing more numbers of floods, natural fires, forest fires, we are seeing. It's happening everywhere. It's not that we are out of it. In India also, we are seeing forest fires in the forest of Uttarakhand, Himachal. So it cannot be said that one disaster is limited to just one country. We are seeing even in the developed countries like US, what they are facing. People well off, and it was earlier said that only the people living in those particular areas will be bearing the brunt of the natural disasters. But then we are seeing everyone, be it rich, poor, well-known, not so well known. So everyone is now under that threat. Why radio is the most important tool for facing or creating awareness, taking the message across to the people is radio is immediate, it's accessible, easily accessible, it's compact to carry. And nowadays with the age of, apps, like we have in Akashvani, we have an app of radio by which you can access any channel, any state radio network anywhere in the world. So that is available. So it is compact, it's easily available. You can send messages across to all cross section, and we have seen it ample times in case of, I'll be referring back to our Akashvani, how we have utilized our channel, our wide network to create awareness. We have several programs. Then with the climate change, because of the changing patterns, we are seeing the man-animal conflict everywhere. How to be ready for that man-animal conflict, and then how do we contribute in resolving that issue? I don't know how many have heard that episode of Man Ki Baat where Prime Minister had raised this issue, and he had in fact, appreciated a group of people who are elephant lovers. They are, creating awareness as to how man-animal conflict can be avoided. I'll give you one example of Chhattisgarh and some areas of MP where the 4 Akashvani Kendras, they have joined hands together, and they have been for the last 10 years, they have been, broadcasting program about this main issue of the elephants encroaching upon the lands, on the fields of the farmers. So they have this program called Hamar Hati, Hamar Goat. So it's a 5-minute daily capsule that is being broadcast for the last 10 years. And what they do is they have tied up with the forest officials. They track the movement of the elephants. Then there is also one group in Assam, same with the elephants only. They have, planted a grass which is liked very much by the elephants. So now the elephants have stopped coming into the villages and disturbing their fields, disturbing the crop, destroying the crop there. So now they go to that particular area where this grass has been planted. So these are some success stories in which Akashvani has played an important role. To talk of for example, another example could be of Akashvani Kendra in Dehradun. They have special programs on creating awareness about the forest fires, there is the landslides that are happening there. Similarly, not of climate disaster, but I'll give you just one recent example of Prayagraj Kumbh, where the Mahakumbh is happening. So there, we have created how we are connected with the people. We have, for a short temporary period of 45 days, we set up a separate channel called Kumbhvani. So this channel, it's running, 16 hours of live programming, including 3 bulletins, giving information up to the people about the crowd management, which route to take, just to avoid conflict and to avoid any sort of mishap. So this is how we are playing this important role in creating awareness, in guiding the people about, and then there is every Kendra. We have across 250 plus channels countrywide. So all the Kendras have a mandate to prepare special programs related to environment and climate change. We have a program of Dharti Akash, which is broadcast from Delhi and it goes to other centers as well, giving information about environment change and climate change also, just to keep people ready what are the disasters and how it can be prevented by just adopting few certain measures. So this is all what some of the initiatives that have been taken by Akashvani, which I wanted to share with you all. And once again, a very happy Radio Day to you. Let us all unite and work on the theme throughout the year so that we have some tangible output to show and discuss it in the next year. And as Secretary Sahab has mentioned, we can also have this program in All India Radio next year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your remarks. Now I would like to invite K.N. Srivastav, Director, IIC, for his address.
Director General, All India Radio, Pragya Paliwal ji, Dr. Barnu Boy, Program Specialist of Natural Science Unit of UNESCO, Archana ji, and dear friends. First of all, I am grateful to Archana and her entire team for inviting me and giving this opportunity to speak to you. I would first begin by congratulating each one of you on the occasion of World Radio Day. The topic or the theme chosen for this program is really very, very important: resilience and climate change. As has been mentioned by other speakers, the climate change is something which we have to take very serious note of. We had just a couple of years back a very nice conference on this issue, where Ban Ki-moon, who was earlier Secretary General of United Nations, he is now heading one NGO called GGG, and they have prepared a country-wise report as to how a country can achieve zero emission targets. So on that occasion, they released the India report as to what India should do to achieve zero emission target. Many of you may be aware that our Prime Minister at Paris COP has already announced that India will achieve this one by 2070. And for that, lot of work is to be done back home. Several projects are now in the offing. Many are under implementation. And we are sincerely working for that. And as was mentioned by Pragya ji a short while ago, that the climate change we have already started witnessing everywhere. No part of the globe has remained unaffected from climate change. The forest fires of California recently devastated not only the forest, also several people were rendered homeless. Tsunami has now started occurring every now and then. Cyclones used to happen once in a while, but now we are having many cyclones in 1 year itself. Even your whole agriculture pattern is now facing the severe, impact of climate change. So therefore, at every level, we have to really, generate awareness, and each one of us have to contribute whatever we can do to preserve the planet, to see that the climate change is arrested. Archana ji, she told me that I should also speak about the initiative taken by India International Center, in this direction. Though we are a very small organization, in comparison to the task that is there, but as I mentioned, that each one of have to really work for that. So in this connection, I would like to just mention to you that first of all, I don't know how many of you are aware of this institution. Just a few words about that. This institution was conceived in 1957 and finally started functioning from 1962. The idea here is to have a center, a forum where intellectuals, all researchers, all that kind of people should meet from all over the world, and they should interact with each other, promote understanding and amity amongst the world communities. That was the objective, and I'm very happy that for the past over 6 decades we have been working for that. Now coming to this climate change thing, on our contribution, I would like to just inform you that every day we consume about 120,000 liters of water. We have got 94 guest rooms, which are like 4-star hotel rooms, etc., which are always occupied because they are great in demand. We conduct 4,500 programs in a year. On an average, you can say about 12 to 15 programs every day takes place over here. So several kind of bio-waste is getting generated. Our kitchen, we have got some 5 kitchens. So roughly about 300 kg of kitchen waste is generated every day. Plus lot of sewage, collection is taking place from the hostel rooms and elsewhere. So what we have done is that we have set up a big biogas plant where the kitchen waste is processed, and biogas is produced, which is again sent back to the kitchen for usage. The slurry from that comes to STP, and so also sewage from all the rooms and program venues. So all this thing is processed. The water is extracted from that. The recycled water is being used in all our lawns and gardens, plants, chilling towers, etc. The solid waste which comes out, goes for processing for compost manure generation. After the compost process is over, then vermiculture is applied to that, and very, very rich fertilizer comes out of that, which is again used in our lawns and gardens. I am very happy to inform all of you that IIC does not discharge any waste into the municipal system. And because of this, our water consumption has drastically come down. We get about now some 40-50,000 liters of water from NDMs every day. The rest of the water requirement is being made through the recycled water. And not only that, we are now producing this fertilizer using the biowaste, etc., so much that we have now offered it to our members, because everybody has got some kitchen garden at home, they can use that. So I would say that what we have done here, can be, replicated everywhere, and this way we'll be contributing hugely for the, climate, preservation. Similarly, of course, electricity consumption also have drastically, brought it down by harnessing solar energy, by replacing all our, electrical appliances which were old one and consuming a lot of power with the fuel efficient ones, etc. So these are the things, which we have done, and I am sure, and we are conveying this message because this is a place which is visited by everyone, be it from inside or outside the country. So we have been conveying this message, sort of a lot of programs we have been having on this issue. Before I close, I just wanted to mention two things that after President Trump, assumed office this time, a lot of fear everybody is having that America has withdrawn from climate change initiatives and America is going to do this, that, they are going to exploit a lot of hydrocarbons. So instead of moving forward, his steps are all going to be retrograde steps. We also had recently a seminar with the European Union and all these issues were discussed. The general belief is that's a matter of time when the realities catches up with the President Trump. America will also come on the board. The entire world community is making sincere efforts and we should not be seen lagging behind, because what the scientists have said is that if the earth temperature goes up by 1.5% more, then the climate change will be irreversible. Whatever you do, the climate change cannot be reversed, which will be disastrous. Humanity cannot survive. So just for the survival of the humanities, it has become absolutely essential for each one of us to contribute on this. Now, Archana ji, before I close, I just wanted to tell you that IIC is a not-for-profit organization. We generate our own resources and we manage our, entire affairs with that. So, unless we charge something, from our program venues or other things, etc., we cannot survive. Though government will be very happy to, give us grant, but we have decided not to take any grant, etc., because every grant has got some string attached. So in order to maintain our autonomous thing, our independent thinking, etc., we have chosen very consciously that we should remain self-sufficient. So with these few words, let me thank each one of you. And as was mentioned by previous speakers, community radio and the radio in general will always be very, very relevant and important for the human communities. And let us, make best use of it for our, for not only generating community, but all, community related, welfare programs. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your remarks. Now I invite Dr. Benabouer, Chief National Sciences Unit, UNESCO, for his address. Please, sir.
Mr. Sanjay, Jaju, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. Mr. K.N. Srivastava, Director, IIC, we just heard him. Dr. Pragya Paliwal Gaur, Director General, Akashvani. Ms. Archana Kapoor, founder of the Radio Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, namaste, very good morning. We heard a lot of words and so I will keep this short because we don't want our ears to fall off, even though, of course, words are very important, because that's what we are talking about. Welcome to the World Radio Day 2025 celebration. I'm grateful to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Prasar Bharati for partnering with UNESCO on this special occasion. 2025 obviously is very important, not just because what you just said, that the US withdrew again from the Paris Agreement, but also we only have 5 years left until the SDGs should be concluded, and they will not be concluded. This year's theme, radio and climate change, is especially timely as 2025 marks a critical year for addressing the escalating climate crisis. The impacts of climate change are becoming increasingly evident, from rising sea levels to more frequent and severe extreme weather events. I think last year we had several severe extreme weather events within 1 week in India, for example, in the coastal areas. These phenomena pose significant risk to the environment, infrastructure, and public health. Both natural and human-induced factors contribute to these changes, which are expected to intensify, causing widespread damage and loss. To navigate this evolving reality, it is essential that we adapt and prepare, focusing on securing water, food, and energy resources. These challenges are closely interconnected with human survival, climate-induced migration, and global peace, underscoring the urgency of taking action now. In today's tech-driven world, radio continues to stand out as a unique and powerful medium for connecting with audiences. By seamlessly blending innovation with storytelling, radio serves as a crucial platform for informing, educating, and mobilizing communities, especially those in remote and vulnerable areas. It plays a key role in raising awareness about climate change, offering accurate, unbiased information to help drive meaningful action. So credible radio is very important, as you pointed out when you addressed us first. Community radio amplifies local voices, enabling communities to share vital knowledge and solutions for combating climate change. It also helps combat misinformation, guiding listeners to critically evaluate sources of information and make informed decisions. And believe me, the misinformation, the black painting, and the greenwashing of climate change is very, very present. I very rarely see unbiased reporting about climate issues. Climate literacy is essential for everyone, from students and professors to government employees, journalists. I think there are a lot of journalists here in this room, but also decision makers, leaders of environmental organizations, and the general public. Without a foundational understanding of climate issues, how can we build the resilience needed to tackle this global challenge? The fact is, if we don't have climate literacy, we will not be able to tackle climate issues. I'm coming from a background of climatology, meteorology. I'm an ecologist by profession. Unlike many of you, you come from journalism, radio management. So I want to go a little bit into what climate is, and then I will invite you to use the materials that UNESCO has available. Climate refers to the long-term average of the dynamic processes in the Earth's atmosphere, assessed by using standardized meteorological methods. So climate is measured over a period of 30 years. What we have out there right now, that's the weather. That's the first thing that we need to recognize if we want to understand talking unbiased about climate. Outside is weather. If we have an extreme weather event, that's weather. Climate is measured over 30 years. Climate is influenced not just by greenhouse gas emissions. Coming to that. Climate is influenced by solar radiation, the physical and chemical processes within the atmosphere, and interactions with living ecosystems, oceans, rivers and lakes, snow and ice, as well as soil and rocks. To assess climate, meteorologists use monthly average data over a 30-year period, such as, for example, from 1991 to 2020. That's a climate period. Right now, we are from 2021 to 2050 is another climate period. Climatology as an interdisciplinary field collaborates with areas like geography, geology, meteorology, oceanography, and physics. So it's much more complicated than we think. When I hear people talking about climate, most of them, marginally they know what they're talking about, but it needs more, and we have materials available that I would like to share with you. UNESCO is committed to promoting objective scientific research and education on climate change, which is one of the most urgent challenges humanity faces. As a critical issue for all United Nations agencies and programs, climate change is accelerated, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Climate change is accelerated by rising greenhouse gas emissions, causing it to accelerate at an alarming rate. This leads to the devastating consequences that I mentioned before, such as extreme weather events, droughts, floods, and rising sea level. Through initiatives such as the Greening Education Partnership and the Press and Planet in Danger program, UNESCO leads the charge in climate education while championing the role of environmental journalists in climate advocacy. Across India and the Asia-Pacific region, UNESCO is actively rolling out science-based climate literacy projects, including the establishment of permanent climate literacy exhibitions and organizing workshops and training sessions. Please reach out to me. My email address is available. These exhibitions are available for free. They are open access. You can print them out. You can establish them in your community, in your city, in your state. I would be very happy collaborating with every one of you on that. So climate literacy exhibitions. You can contact me or my colleague, Ms. Ashita here, and we would be very happy collaborating with you. Radio stands out as a vital platform for science communication, offering a powerful means to spread awareness about climate change and promote resilience through simple, cost-effective actions that can make both rural and urban areas more sustainable. We must harness radio's potential to inform, educate, and inspire action, empowering communities to build resilience and tackle climate-related challenges proactively, not retroactively. We should not wait until a disaster strikes. We should prepare ourselves for it and therefore reducing it. By strengthening this connection, we can help mitigate the effects of floods, droughts, and extreme weather events, ensuring that communities are better prepared when disaster strikes. Radio has the power to reduce damage and save lives. Happy World Radio Day.